So we're going to talk first, and I apologize for the delay, to Planview. So tell me a little bit about Planview. What do you do? What products do you sell? Tell me a little bit about Planview in general.
Yeah. So Planview is really all about helping companies optimize the resources they have, whether it's the people they've got, the money that they've got, and then the work that they do, the projects that they do to move their business forward.
And you have 3 products, right?
We do. We've got 3 product lines. So Planview Enterprise is kind of our core portfolio resource management application. So that's where large companies that are managing hundreds of projects that have strategic goals need to make sure that all these things are aligned. Our True product line is all about business capabilities and technology management. So all the applications that are needed to keep a company running, all the underlying technologies that support those applications, getting an understanding of what they are and keeping the lights on.
So you help organize stuff and people in general, basically.
That's right.
And you're pretty good at what you do, right?
Well, we like to think so. So Gartner and Forrester and Ventana have recognized us. Always like to be in that up and to the right area.
So you guys are the orange dot.
We're the orange dot.
That's a good spot to be, right? On the top, towards the top right. So these are third-party independent. So this is pretty good.
That's right. We've been doing this for a while, and
some of people here may use your product. I think one or two.
I've already met a couple of Planview customers.
Yeah, because if you have 1,000 customers, then you probably have one. So tell us a little bit about your role.
Sure. So I'm senior product manager, focused on analytics and reporting for our Planview offering. So from our perspective, right? I mean, we provide reporting and analytics to our customers through each of our product lines. And we're looking at Power BI and how we can help us do that better.
So you bring reporting and analytics in the product. You don't provide reporting and analytics to people in Planview.
That's right. This is all externally focused. I mean, we are a software company. Our customers use our software, and then we provide analytics about all the data that they've got.
And so maybe we can talk a little bit about your challenge.
Sure. So with Planview as a company has been a single product company up until 2 years ago, and we've been in the business for 23 years. So, with the acquisition of Project Place, with the acquisition of True, we acquired 2 new product lines. So now we've got a broad customer base with multiple product lines, and we've got to create value and connect the data from all these different systems together for our customers. The other kind of big thing that we had is that all of our reporting and capabilities have all been homegrown up to this point for each of the product lines. And so we're really looking at kind of a buy versus build decision of, are we going to invest heavily in kind of next generation stuff, or are we going to look out and see what's out in the market that can help us get there?
And your product range from, I think, Project Place that would manage an event like this.
Yeah. I mean, Project Place is kind of small scale project collaboration. So exactly, I mean, we actually use Planview, and we use Project Place internally at Planview to manage all of our annual customer conferences. So bringing together, content people from the products team and the consulting organization with the marketing team, with the, with all these people being distributed across the globe, all coming together for a short-term project and keep everything coordinated.
And then the rest are, as you scale up, you have enterprise with bigger cell portfolio and project management.
That's right. So Planview Enterprise is really kind of for the larger organization where they've got hundreds of projects that they need to manage, and then thousands of people working on all these projects, keeping all that straight. And then True is all about giving that IT visibility to what applications do I have to keep my business running, what technologies are underlying those applications, who are my service providers delivering all this to us, and making sure that all that keeps the lights on.
So how did you approach this problem, and what is your solution?
Right. So, where we're initially struggling, right? It's now we're a 3 product line company, just kind of in a really short term turnaround. How do we integrate the data coming from all these 3 different products together to give our customers really this end-to-end, no matter how they work, visibility into what they're doing? So that was our big thing. Each of our product lines had individual lines of sight. So we started from a Power BI perspective. I mean, we looked at other applications out there. We chose Power BI, and we are getting into this kind of cross-product line analytics through content packs. through Power BI content packs. And not sure how many of you are familiar with those, but we'll take a look at what those are. And then the other kind of key thing is for us is being able to access data from multiple systems, whether or not they're hosted, the data's in the cloud, the data's on-prem. We have customers that are distributed across those kind of environments, and we need to be able to pull that all together to help them tell a story.
That's right. And so you told me, I think, that was one of the big goal of your board, is to make sure that your customers who buy product to manage an event like this can also have reporting mixed with more the long-term strategic planning.
Yeah,
they want to bring it all together.
Truly, I mean, this is literally a 2016 board initiative for us as a company, is to be able to bring this data together across product lines and give our customers kind of a 1 + 1 = 3 sort of value.
And I can only imagine when you manage a lot of portfolio, a lot of projects, analytics are very important. Which one is behind, ahead? That's probably one of the critical elements on any project or portfolio management software.
It absolutely is. I mean, when we talk with our customers and we do kind of win-loss assessments, being on the product management team, I mean, we know that one of the top two reasons that Planview is chosen in the marketplace is because of the analytics reporting. I mean, we got tons of data, and exposing that to our customers is what's really valuable.
So shall we show them? Because I think we can talk about it.
Let's show them.
Let's show. So we're gonna get out of this. We rebooted the machine, so it should be. That's kind of my tech solution approach to things. It doesn't work, you reboot it.
All right.
Okay. So what are we getting here?
So for those kind of maybe new to Power BI from a content pack perspective, like if you go to powerbi.com like today, and you can log in today, you can get a free Power BI account, and that's what we're actually having all of our customers do. Just get the free Power BI account, and then go to Get Data.
Sometimes it's good to get the pay one too.
Well, yeah, they can do that later. They can do that later. But for right now, I mean, they can click on this services area, and these are all content packs, right? And so
you guys have seen this before, right?
Seen this,
There's
right?
like the Survey Monkey somewhere, or I don't know.
Yeah,
all kinds of things.
Yeah, we got so Adobe Analytics out there, Salesforce is out there. Yeah, there's MailChimp. And so we have 3 content packs.
You have 3?
We have 3. So we have Planview Enterprise right here. We have Project Place. And then we just introduced the True content pack just last month.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
That's right. So the way that you access this is kind of a one-click.
It's very hard, no?
So far, it's 2 clicks, and you hit click connect. And then at this point, we're in the Planview Enterprise one, so our Planview Enterprise customers would log in, authenticate themselves with their username and password, how they would log into their Planview Enterprise account. So all of this enforces data level security, so I'm only allowed to see the data that's granted for me, whereas Mark would see different data.
So you take care of the authentication.
That's right. We handle all that, and we work directly with the Microsoft content pack team to develop this content pack.
Very secure. And so when you click on it, this is where you're going to go. You're going to show us, right?
That's right. So once you authenticate,
this is the first view, and everybody gets that out of the box.
That's right. Yeah, so we talked about, when we think about what a content pack is, again, those were maybe kind of new to people. There's really 3 pieces of it. You get a data set, so the actual data that's underlying, that you have to work with. You have reports that are driven off that data set. And then we've got a dashboard that pulls visuals from particular reports to monitor what's important to you.
I like it. It's always better not to start from a blank page. Because you give them enough, and it's like if you have a house, you know better if you like something the way it's organized. If you go to an empty room, it's a lot harder to organize stuff. At least there is something in place, and you can edit and augment that, obviously.
That's right. That's right. So this kind of out of the box, you start off with a dashboard with key areas. So in this case, right, I'm looking at all the projects that I have access to as Ken Odland kind of logging into this. I can see kind of my projects, how are they rating in terms of CapEx and OpEx spend? Of my projects, how are they grouped in terms of strategic versus less strategic? I can see my projects, which ones are over budget, even just as important, which ones are under budget, which projects are underfunded, and really they should be getting more money and attention than they are.
And they'll disconnect directly to your backend, and obviously this is interactive, right? If you click.
That's right, right. So all this, right, so these dashboards are totally flexible. You can resize, reorganize areas right here, make it look and feel the way you want it.
I love Content Pack because we have something in finance and Microsoft, discipline at the core, flexibility at the edge. You have the discipline at the core with authentication, the standard reports out of the box, but you have flexibility to change that in the context of something secure.
That's right, right. And the data set itself, provides kind of the boundary of what the customers can see, and then they can augment these, they can add new reports, they can tweak reports, and we'll take a look.
And obviously, when you click, you see an underlying report.
That's right. One click, you can drill down into the detail. So here I'm looking at my over budget area, and so now I've got a sense of kind of all my projects. I can drill in by particular, timelines. I can filter, right? So if I just want to look at 2016 and 2017, see what's coming up.
And then if somebody likes tables, you can do. And obviously, all the innovation that take place every month trickle down to these content packs, right? So if somebody wants to augment this with custom visual or anything.
New visuals, that's right, that are coming out all the time. We really like that sand dance.
That's right.
We're looking forward to integrating that in. And it gets all the drill down and filtering, so I can take a look at one project, get all the details. Where's my overage coming from? How much from hardware, labor, and other. So kind of get the details.
But this is the big one, the enterprise. And then you have the other ones that are sometimes smaller scale, right?
Yep, that's right. So if we take a look at Project Place, for example, right? So
this will be like an event like this.
That's right, yeah. It's used to coordinate kind of a small scale, short-term project. So now I can see, again, logged in as myself, all the projects that I've been invited to. I can see all the ones that are active.
This is out of the box, huh? You get that out of the box, basically.
That's right, and that's the whole idea, be able to let our customers kind of get value just right out of the box, a starting point, and then be able to tweak and augment from there.
And consume on any devices, obviously. So if you click on it, same story?
Yeah, so you can click in an area, drill down here. I'm just looking at my completed card. So we have kind of a Kanban system. You can see how progress is moving over time. I can see kind of who's been completing what, who are the ones who really are working a lot, and I'm not working so much. I'm down here, but
you need
more stuff
going.
to do. Yeah.
But see, and here, some people, again, I like to have an overall number. You have a visual, and you have a slicer. You can have tables. And you guys have thought, obviously, of the most important metrics to show out of the box. There's some thought that went into what you're showing.
Yeah, that's right. So we talked to a lot of customers and just kind of, looking at the reporting that's available to them today, and then finding out how can Power BI kind of augment that. We're trying to fill in gaps, where we have holes now within our reporting and analytics. And let Power BI kind of take that up.
And you talked earlier, and then the last one is True?
Yeah, and True here, right? This is about kind of keeping the lights on from an IT perspective. What...
I have nightmares about these things.
Yeah.
Some people have nightmares. Me, it's the blue donuts and this. So, but if you're in IT, these are looking at the applications that you have.
That's right. So we got 585 applications in production. We can get a sense of what is the recommendation of these, how many do we keep, how many we're supposed to decommission.
That's
we
right.
can take a look at any problem areas right here, and then again, just of the ones to be decommissioned, we can see where they fit within our portfolio here.
And so you talked earlier about mixing and matching. So you can actually create your own dashboard that brings data from those 3 content packs, right?
That's right. So for example, we're talking about this whole kind of cross-product line visibility, right? And so if I see a particular visual that I like here that I need to add, I can kind of do one click, I can pin this visual, I can create a new dashboard.
I think you have to, perfect.
And I can just pin it to this new dashboard, right? So this is one from our True side. I can go to Project Place and take a look at a couple of kind of key areas here, like if I want to look at unassigned cards. Let's take a look at this distribution one. So this guy right here, we can pin this as well and say, hey, let's go ahead and put this on this new kind of summary dashboard. We'll pin it there. And then likewise, from Planview Enterprise perspective, we can take a look at any of the particular visuals and bring those up. Let's say our strategic alignment. We really want to get a sense of
So you can have an overview, something at the middle, and then something, and then you go back to your, it has a yellow star there. It tells you.
That's right. So we
it's a
just
new one.
created, yeah, we just created this new dashboard. We take a click on this.
And that's and you're mixing the three
now we've got
content
this.
packs into one.
Right. So this is something that's really really new for our customers, right? I mean, to be able to get that visibility from data's coming from 3 different sources, completely different systems, but overall those 3 systems provide a total, no matter how you work, kind of visibility. These content packs really help us kind of with this first step into providing that view for our customers.
Perfect. So let's close and talk a little bit about your favorite Power BI capabilities.
Yep.
Thank you, So if we go back to in projection mode, so tell me a little bit about your favorite Power BI capabilities.
Yeah, so I think, first and foremost is the visualization and exploration. I mean, kind of really this next-gen way of looking at data and being able to explore the data and be able to find insights that weren't apparent before. This is what, we have these customer inner circles where we've got customers that we preview, new products coming out with them. And this is a main driver for them. Help us find the needles in the haystack, help us look at this data in different ways.
And connecting different data sources, obviously, the 3, yeah?
Right, cutting across those product lines, strategic imperative for us. And then I think finally the mobile experience, right? I mean, our customers are over and over asking us for, we need an executive dashboard. We've got to have a high-level view that the executives can take, look on their tablet when they're just before they get on the plane, make comments, send back. That kind of mobility experience is core for us.
Well, thank you so much. This was great. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you for Planview for showing.
Okay, thanks.
And now, if you want to know how to win an election, we're going to now talk to the folks. And I'm going to let you log in. Let's see. Go ahead. I guess I'll log off. That's right. Sign out. Sign out. Right? Yeah, if I keep clicking, I'll let you manage. So this is super exciting because these folks are from we can chat while the deck comes up and he's logging in. From the Republican National Committee, the campaign arm. And I didn't realize what goes into helping states, cities, at the national level win elections. So tell me a little bit about who you are and the Republican National Committee.
Absolutely. My name is Connor McGuire. We're the Republican National Committee. We're the campaign arm of the Republican Party. We focus on 3 main things: raising money, driving the Republican message, and electing Republicans to office. And what we do as the Republican Party is we kind of focus on a few things, but one of the main things is the national infrastructure of the party. We're in charge of recruiting, hiring, and deploying an army of volunteers across the country that then can work in November for the general election to elect Republicans to office.
That's right. So you have a pretty significant amount of folks in DC, right? You have like 200 people?
We do. At headquarters, we've got about 200 people. And then through the cycle, we'll be hiring on about 2,000 staff across the country. And that ranges from data directors to state managers. And then that team will manage up to about 2 million volunteer shifts across the country.
Wow.
So we'll have a lot of volunteers, but it's all built on capacity and building
right.
up the whole program.
That's right, and it's really optimizing the things you can do based on data, right? Because I'm sure there is many, many things that those volunteers can do, and you guys want to make sure that they focus on what helps you win elections. Right?
I mean, absolutely. It's a game of resource allocation. And Power BI really certainly helps us out with this when we're deciding where we're going to put volunteers, where we're going to put staff, what we have available, and what we want to try to take over and win in different states.
Beautiful. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the first one. And the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about the org you are in. And so that was the first one. So it's probably coming. I probably keep making it worse because I keep clicking, and I don't think it's like when I have a problem with my. So you do back end and front end of data, right?
Absolutely. We have an internal team and an external team. The internal team is really in charge of maintaining our database. It's about 300 terabytes, and it's the 190 million registered voters in America. 300
terabytes, 180 million registered voters. So this is not little data, right?
No, it's not, and it's always growing, of course. We start out with a list of registered voters across the country, and then we just append on as much information we can, and that's really what the internal team's job is to find out this information and append it on.
And it must be a nightmare because your backend data source will be multiple from, Excel from states, to
Exactly.
public data from Census.
And a lot of this data is public data, and so we requested to get it from a Secretary of State, and in every single state's different. The format's different, even different iterations from a state comes in very differently. Our team really has to bring this all together. We then do a lot of work with United States Census data, consumer data, election results, anything we can find. This team has to bring into a way that then we can bring into Power BI.
It's like a bowl of spaghetti that you probably get. And then you do the front end, and not just the descriptive, but also the predictive, right?
Absolutely. I work on the external side, so I work with all the campaigns. And when I say all the campaigns, I don't mean just the presidential campaigns. I mean any campaign that's running for Republican, as a Republican for office. We work with presidentials, the governor's race, congressional races, all the way down the ticket. If you're a dog catcher and it's a partisan race, we'll help you out with data. So we've got predictive analytics that we run. We've got a BI team, and we've got a whole team of analysts that pretty much 24/7 for all these campaigns.
So you guys can tell by a few characters if somebody's a Democrat or Republican, right?
Absolutely. We've got an in-house data science team that spends a lot of time building predictive analytic models, and we, how likely I am to be a Republican, how likely Patrick, you are to be a Democrat, how things change. And we run these constantly throughout the cycle, so we're always watching them change, and data visualization helps us monitor that.
So this complexity obviously brings me a challenge. We talked a little bit about this because it's not just the left, but also the right. You touched it in the introduction. You have many, many, many different users who have many different needs, right?
Absolutely. We've got a lot of information and a lot of people that want to see different things. And because we're dealing with campaigns in states, you got to do something different to win in every state. The program you're running in Florida isn't going to work to win in Ohio. You've got to do something different. So in 2012, working with the Romney campaign, we needed to find a way for the state directors to take a look at reports that are really specific to their state. So the problem is we use SSRS and Tableau back in previous cycles, and that takes a lot of time from our analysts. It takes a lot of time and a lot of money to create these reports for a specific reason. So that really ate up a ton of time. Mm-hmm. With our current solution, we are now able to allow people to take full receipt of the data in a Power BI atmosphere and create their own reports.
What do you think? Do you agree?
Yeah, and I was just going to add to that. We like to say 50 plus one. It's 50 states plus DC customers, if you will. They're really partners of ours, the state parties, and then the state parties have campaigns under them. As Connor was saying, we deal with everyone right down to a dog catcher if they have an R beside their name. And the challenge there was we were creating these reports, these one-off reports, and sending them out, but then we got feedback that from these campaigns, every one of them wanted to see it slightly differently. And we had to go back and retool that report. And Power BI kind of solved that for us.
That's right. You told me you had like this Sunday
weekly
report.
So the way it worked was in the past is we had weekend meetings every Sunday, every Saturday and Sunday. We would get in a room and call around to our state directors and stakeholders in target states. And we'd go through what had happened that previous week and then came up with a plan for the following week. And
that's not really good for work-life balance. Huh?
No, it's not good for work-life balance. And we were dealing with outdated information at that point.
Right.
In a week's time, the environment had changed.
That's right.
It wasn't real time.
I think that's probably the most frustrating is you work really hard and you're not really happy with what you have because it's old. If you're going to work hard and do something amazing, the output kind of make you forget. But when you have data that is a week old and the next day it's obsolete, it's very frustrating.
Right.
So you guys have amazing demos. I'm really excited. We're going to look at certain areas, certain states. So I'm really excited. I think, shall we show them?
Sure.
And then you guys can tell us more stories of past elections. So you can hit escape, I think. And you're okay with this?
Yep.
Okay, I'll let you run it. So
perfect.
What are we looking at?
So this is just an absentee and early vote analysis. For those of you that are unfamiliar or unaware, Absentee voting, you can vote by mail. You request a ballot, and then you return that ballot to cast your vote. You mail it back in to a Secretary of State or Board of Election. Early voting is you're actually voting in person. You just don't do it on the election day. You can go prior to election day and vote in a booth. We like to track this, namely because absentee ballots, we know the individuals that request those ballots. We know their characteristics from our data modeling.
That's public data, too,
That's
right?
public data. Yeah, it's all public. It's nothing private. And we can track to see who's requested those ballots and who's returned those ballots. And we get that daily from states. So what this is showing us here is how we're performing compared to Democrats in the absentee chase, is what we like to call it. So in the month of January, we had a 6.2% lead over Democrats. And we can drill down into that and see
So
it
you're ahead.
by weeks. We're ahead.
And this is in Florida for this primary.
Well, this is, oh yeah, sorry, this is in Florida. We've drilled down. We can actually retool that, and this is for
So you can pick a state, yes, you have a
Yeah,
slice.
so we can pick a state.
And so the person in Florida can pick his, and the person in Louisiana, 51 people,
Yep.
they can just select their state.
And we can drill down into a congressional district, for instance. So the 3rd congressional district in Florida, this is how we're performing there. So as you can see, in January, so we had more requests, but we didn't get as many returns. We were actually losing by 3% on the return side. And that is a concern for us. So what we do is we end up designing an absentee chase program around that. We can see we're losing. We can use this information and see where we're losing, and we can go down and chase those individuals that have requested a ballot but have yet to return it, and that we know are going to go and vote for us or for our candidates.
And
So-
so you're going to go a little bit into, and by the way, I love their design. I especially love the icons, which are really, those are customized, right?
Yes, so this is a custom visualization. It's a chiclet slicer. You can select your own images to include with that. But we went ahead and threw that in there for early voting and requested versus returned absentees. So we'll drill down into Florida here. And we can zoom in.
You can use your
on the
fingers.
map.
And those are 3 big dense areas.
Yep, so
Broward County, Pinellas.
Yep. So the centroids there that you see are counties. And the size is based on the number of requested ballots.
And that's for absentee, right? That's right.
That's for absentee, correct. So for instance, we can come over and see.
So these people would rather go to the beach on that Sunday than go vote. That's why they do that.
Exactly. So we were discussing it earlier. We were saying, and you'll see in a minute when we break down by age segment, but it's the snowbirds in Florida. By and large, it's the older generations that are voting by absentee, and it's most likely because they don't want to take the time to go out to a poll. They would rather mail their ballot in and go to hit the golf course or the beach.
And due to laws, and every single state's different. So due to laws and due to just, ideas people have had, the percentage of people that vote early or absentee changes dramatically. Florida's over 50% votes early or absentee. Now, other states vote a lot lower. Either sometimes it's very restrictive, or people just aren't in the atmosphere.
Right.
They don't like to vote early.
right.
They don't think their vote counts if they vote early.
That's right. And sometimes some people travel and they don't know where they're going to be that day.
Exactly, and that's the example we have with Florida and snowbirds. People that move down to Florida as they get older, they don't know where they're going to be on election day, and so they're traveling around. So they're just going to vote by absentee or vote early. It's called convenience voting, and we like that because we can track it.
Right. So we can see in Pinellas County, we've had 99,801 Republican requests for ballots, which is pretty good for us. As you can see in the chart there, we're leading that. But how many people have returned those ballots? We've only got 69,000 returned ballots. We're missing 30,000 votes. That can swing an election very easy, especially a local election in a particular area. But it'll also add to the total of say, a presidential.
I mean, absolutely. 2012 in Florida, Romney only lost Florida by 70,000 votes.
So if we can
We
chase
can't
down
leave them on
those,
the table.
if we know those people are going to vote for us, if we've modeled them, we can look at our analytics models, build a universe of those individuals that have yet to return their ballots, figure out which ones are going to vote for us, and we can go chase them down and say, hey guys, you requested this ballot, we know you got it, can you return it?
That's right. And this is really where BI drives optimal action, because as you pointed, you have limited set of resources. So you can't go after everybody. You're going to focus on the ones who are likely to help you instead of calling everybody. This is where
absolutely.
business intelligence is really effective.
And going back to the Sunday meetings we were discussing earlier, we get the absentee information on a daily basis. As you can imagine, at the end of the week, those numbers have changed all week. If we can see those changes on a day-to-day basis in the form of a dashboard, we can pivot our resources to go chase. If we realize, one county happened to return a large number of votes, we don't really need to chase down that many more there later. We can pivot to another county, pivot our resources over there on a dime.
That's right. And I think I'm French, and the system of election is different here because it's state by state, and you win all or nothing, right?
Absolutely. In here, it's an electoral college, so you get a certain number of votes for winning a state. So you can take a look at, hey, if we're ahead by quite a bit in one state, we can pull out resources and move it somewhere else.
That's right.
So we can build up. And so this is really, you always have to be paying attention of where you stand, how many votes you have out there, and what you need to do.
Because you could have the majority of voters but lose the election
Absolutely,
because of strategic ways you have been by states. So obviously demographic is probably a big deal for you, right?
Yeah. So part of this chase, different demographics respond differently to different messaging. So it's a concern for us. So we look at age segment, we look at sex, we have female versus male voters, any number of demographics, you name it, we deal with it. But here's just a simple age segment breakdown, and as I was saying, in Florida, it's your older generations that are voting by absentees.
Right.
It's your retirees that
This
don't know
is-
exactly where they're going to be.
46 and above, right? Like 80%.
Yep.
These are all, wow, 46 and above. And even at 56, you have like 60%.
Right.
Wow.
And so seeing that lets us know, okay, we're dealing with an older population. Maybe our messaging needs to be tailored to them. Our absentee chase may need to be tailored to them. Maybe we wouldn't advertise on a mobile platform. We'd actually send them a mailer that they're more likely to see or something like that.
This is really important because at the end of the day, it's all about optimizing resource, right? We hear a lot about the money that goes into this, but it's a limited pool, and more importantly, you have limited amount of volunteers and staffers, right?
Exactly. That's really what this all comes down to. Like I said, you've got a limited amount of time. I mean, everyone's got deadlines in their job, right? Well, those deadlines can move some days. The first Tuesday in November does not move. That is when Election Day is going to be. And that is when we need to be prepared, and we need to have completed everything for that day.
That's right. And it's, if you have 2 weeks, you have 2 weeks. No matter you have 10 million people or not, you're going to have 5 things to do. And you better pick the right ones to do based on...
Exactly, and kind of a good example of that is in the 2014 Senate elections in the state of Iowa. Joni Ernst was running. In the state of Iowa, the Democrats always do a great job of absentee ballots casting. They do a great job of getting people to vote by absentee. And Republicans in the state, for some reason, just really in the past have not liked to do this. So we really decided we need to not win, but we need to have a good showing in absentee ballots. Well, when the summer of 2014 came around, and the first numbers came out, the first reports we were able to build, it showed Democrats had tons more absentee ballot requests out there, and they were getting them returned. They were just getting huge numbers, and so we all looked like, oh no, we're screwed. What are we going to do? But because we're able to look at it in a business intelligence sense, we were able to notice that these are all Democrats that were high propensity, very likely to vote anyway, and they were just cannibalizing their Election Day vote to vote early. And now we were allocating our resources to turn out people and to really encourage people that don't normally vote to vote absentee.
That's right.
And so when votes started falling, we were doing much better, and on Election Day, we did very well.
That's right. So this is a very good point because you have a certain percentage of people who vote who don't vote.
Yep.
And you want to go after the ones who don't vote who may vote for you.
Exactly,
Right?
and that's when we take our predictive analytics data from our data science team and bring it in here to data visualization tools to take a look at it and really segment these people out and find out who they are.
So this is what's amazing is that things have won by thin margins.
Yeah.
And you have very few instances where you can do things. You cannot do many things. And so you got to be very careful about what you do, right?
Yeah, you've got to make decisions because the decisions you make are going to have major impacts.
That's right. And so you guys also have something amazing, the publish to web, right?
Yeah, so we did a kind of dry run, a test run with a new feature called Publish to Web, which lets you, where's the full screen here? F11.
Let's see, we have technical support live. Maybe not,
Nope.
I don't know.
F11 is not working.
Well, you know, it's fine, just scroll down.
Well, we can.
You're good, you're good.
So we did a test run with the Nevada caucus. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar, the difference between a primary and a caucus, one is run by a state entity. The primaries are run by a secretary of state or a board of election. They're government run, they're government institutions. That's where you go and you have a booth that you vote in, and they have processes in place to tally those. Caucuses, on the other hand, are run by state parties. Those are our partners or our subsidiaries that are in the state. They run the Republican Party in their given state. And they're responsible for organizing the caucus, reporting on the caucus, everything from the volunteer recruitment, everything. So Nevada had a caucus this year, and we decided that we wanted to test out a reporting dashboard, mainly so that we could kind of get a feel for what we could do on the general election.
It's so up to date that it refreshes often, like it just did. We have the latest, greatest now.
So we built this. It's a simple iframe that's embedded in a web page. It's behind a password, and we built a refresh counter in it.
And if you click on the pictures, you can just interact with it, right?
Yep, and we hooked right into the Associated Press's data feed for this, and you can click on a candidate, everyone's favorite there, and it shows you the number of votes they got.
That's right.
And then I also played with, it's called the Synoptic Panel. It's a custom visualization. It allows you to take an image and define or bind data to different areas of that image. So I did that with the map here.
So this is very interesting because we did the same with our friends from King 5 over there. So we scanned a map, and then you can go around the states or the counties or anything and create a custom map. And it's really effective way to do things in a static way like this.
Yep.
You treat the map as a picture, but the map is interactive.
Right.
Because Synaptic Panel allows you. I know sometimes we talk about pictures, but it's also, you can do this very effectively with map, and I really like your design here. It's beautiful.
And this was my first attempt. You can actually bind different values and show different values. So what I could do in a next iteration was show the counties based on which candidate won. That I could color code them accordingly.
So everybody's going to get to see that soon?
I'm not going to make any promises just yet.
Because Lucas in the back from that team is looking for examples. That's the Publish to Web Power BI team.
Okay.
So he's going to harass you probably, but no, it looks beautiful. And the fact that it's interactive, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's great, and having it the publish to web was really great for us. It allowed us to make this available kind of publicly for everyone back in DC and everyone making a decision and looking at the results in Iowa or Nevada that night.
So the thing that is important is that you build your Power BI, and in one click you can embed it in a browser, in any web.
I was quite frankly amazed at how simple it was.
Yeah.
You literally click a button, copy and paste an iframe.
And then people can just look at what you did. So we have a few minutes to chat. Anything else?
Not for me. Does anyone have any questions?
So let's talk a little bit about your favorite Power BI. Thank you so much. These are beautiful. Yeah. Let me just go through the favorite capability, and then we'll go through the questions. Okay? All right. So we can go. What is your favorite? Maybe I'll go in presentation format. What are your? Let's talk about what you like the best about Power BI. Those are yours, right?
Yep.
Because I have so many customers, I want to make sure that this is yours.
So our primary thing is the self-service side of Power BI. As we mentioned previously, we had these canned reports that we had to tailor to specific requests of varying campaigns and consultants and stakeholders across the country, and it was just a pain to tweak them constantly on a weekly basis. Now we can just expose the data source in Power BI, give them a few canned dashboards, and then they can run with it and build the reports that they want to see in the way they want to see them.
Absolutely, I totally agree with that. I mean, everyone asks, does it scale? Is it going to build up? And for us, it's not just having the site be hit by a lot of people, it's having everyone be able to get what they want out
That's
of it,
right.
get what they need out of it. And so for the self-service aspect, it really changes the game for us and
right.
frees us up to do some more things.
And we saw the custom visual, the publish to web. And then share workspace, you use work groups, right?
Right. So Power BI has this ability. You can define workspaces or create workspaces where you can collaborate on dashboards and reports, which is fantastic for us because again we have various reports we need to build
right.
constantly, and we oftentimes someone's busy and someone else needs to go in and tailor that report.
That's right.
So you can create these workspaces. You can define who can read from them, who can actually edit them, and show just what
right.
is relevant. To certain
And then I'm going to just mention, because there's folks who want to ask a couple of questions, is with your move to Azure, you're going to use the machine learning capabilities that are really going to help you in the predictive space, right?
Absolutely. Moving to Azure has kind of opened up a lot of things for us because we've been an on-prem building for a while. And so moving up to Azure, we're going to take advantage of a lot more that it has to offer. And the machine learning aspect is going to help us really just take a look deeper into what we have available and make decisions on what we want to show and if we're showing the right things.
That's right. So we had a couple of people who were eager to ask questions. You were first, right? No? Were you first? Sorry.
Can you talk about the cost savings that you received moving from Tableau to Power BI?
We can. We've been saving a lot. I mean, the licensing that we get from Microsoft is pretty great compared to what we were paying for Tableau. I don't want to give out any numbers or anything, but we've seen we're able to deploy this a lot better than Tableau as well. With Publish to Web and just the free desktop, we can share things a lot easier, and we can really include people that aren't going to have licenses, and we don't have to buy licenses for a lot of people when we can just publish to web.
Any other question? Okay, I'm going to try to run upstairs. Huh? Well, that's okay because we're recording, so if you want your mom to hear you, we're going to...
So, question about that. You were talking about the absent ballots or the early ballot voting. What is your ETL process and your data refresh process on that? How quickly do you get it? And the reason why I ask this is because I'm on the customer side for you guys, and I got calls every 2 days when my ballot came in, my mail-in ballot, asking like, hey, did you get your ballot? Do you know what you're supposed to do? Who do you like? That kind of stuff. And then as soon as I sent it in, gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, first off, we've got people in all the states that collect this information, really based on how often the Secretary of State makes it available. Some states are great. It's every morning. We have someone manually grab it in places we can't have a system to grab it and load it up. That's the first thing that's done in the morning. And everything is synced up pretty well that within an hour, it's posted in our outward-facing user interface for all campaigns to access.
And then it's just a matter of me reprocessing my tabular model.
We've spent the last 18 months, we've got a lot more investment into data at the Republican Party. We spent the last 18 months really just removing humans from as many steps as we can and automating it.
And you're in that transition right as we speak to Azure. You're pretty much done, right?
We're almost totally completed with our move to Azure, which then we're just going to even that much faster. But those phone calls did stop, right?
So just mail your ballot. So there was another question here. Somebody?
Yeah. Could you talk about your experience training your users, training your state party chairman to actually make their own reports? 'Cause I imagine that they may not be the most technically proficient. So how easy was that?
So that's a big challenge of ours is the fact that we're dealing with a range of technical expertise. It's everyone from I don't want to use a computer to developers. But yeah, it's been positive. They're a little standoffish at first, but once you get in there and you show them, it's just as simple as dragging and dropping. Pretty much everyone.
And I
feels
think
like
there's
they can
probably
do it.
different because there is the notion of picking your state, and then there's the notion of customize. There's different levels because sometimes you just select your name or your state, right?
Absolutely. We use row-level security in this as well for all of our user accounts. So a state will only have access to their state. And really the big saving grace is Patrick's tabular model that he builds. It makes it pretty simple and makes it pretty consumable for these people. And the best thing is we have a data director in all these states too that we have real sit down. They can write SQL as well. So they've got true understanding. So they're kind of our go-to in each state.
Maybe one more. Otherwise, please give a round of applause for our folks on the. Thank you so much.